Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, ready? Good afternoon. This is Thursday, March the 17th, 2022. It's about 3 minutes after 1. We're going to call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum here today. Acknowledge any guests here today also. Is there any public hearings? Here none, we'll go straight into deliberation, consider action on the following items. Number one is discuss and appropriate approve Newton County CAD access to net data, as well as guidelines for administrative access to the firewall. So, Mr. Shannon, you want to present that? And I see Ms. Margie here. Are you here to speak also?
Well, let's listen to Shannon, then I might not have any.
Okay.
This is an email from TCA, who we contract with for our network, the network engineers and so forth, regarding this connection and that data, and I'll read that off. Shannon, here are Texas Computer Associates recommendations regarding the deployment of an untangled firewall at the Newton CAD office. Newton County is deploying an untangled firewall in the Newton CAD location across the street from Newton County Courthouse. Purpose of the firewall is to provide Newton CAD computers with secure site-to-site VPN access to the net data server on the Newton County network. Newton CAD's current firewall will be used for all other networking services. Newton CAD staff are requesting administrative access to the firewall. Granting administrative access is a security risk to the Newton County network as a whole. Below is a list of points to illustrate why Newton CAD should not be granted administrative access to the untangled firewall. The untangled firewall is essentially an extension of Newton County's network placed in an unfamiliar and uncontrolled location. Newton County has no control over the security of the Newton CAD network or the devices on the network. As such, it is important to ensure untangled firewall itself is as secure as possible. Allowing outside administrative access to the untangled firewall could result in security services being changed or disabled without knowledge of Newton County staff. Untangled firewall will only control Newton CAD's access to net data or to the net data server on the Newton County network. It will not control Newton CAD's access to the internet, access to other external services, or access to internal services. This is a fairly common configuration. Texas Computer Associates has a number of clients that purchase or rent vendor-managed hardware to allow access to services. Specifically, many of their banks have VPN firewalls used to access federal banking services. The firewalls are completely managed by outside staff, and banking staff have no access to those firewalls. Each organization secures its side of the network according to the security standards. It is the recommendation of Texas Computer Associates that Newton County has sole administrative access to the untangled firewall at the Newton CAD, and that Newton CAD have sole administrative access to its firewall and network. If it is necessary to grant Newton CAD administrative access to the untangled firewall, Texas Computer Associates recommend that Newton County perform regular network security assessments and be granted administrative access to the Newton CAD network and devices. So it's either we maintain that one firewall there so we can just assure that that protection is on. We don't see anything else on their network, or we're going to need to see more into their network. Either or, that's what they're recommending. And it's just a firewall that we're going to place on the back end of their firewall just for the computers that are gonna be needing access into this network. That's it. And it just goes both ways. She wants access into this network, and we're trying to protect both ends. Her side as well. We have a lot of users on this side. We could get viruses and send them that way. So it's just protecting both sides, making one tunnel right there, and we're gonna make sure that that gateway is secure.
Okay. I bought firewall, it's not Newton County, it's Newton County. I have a firewall on my servers and everything else, but Shannon recommended another firewall just for safety purposes. I hadn't got a problem with that. I told him I'll buy the firewall, but it's Newton County. I think, well, I'm very strong on this. My software company maintains all of my systems. I think they have to work with Shannon to make sure we're protected and anything coming from him. But I think my software company needs to maintain my equipment and Newton County needs to maintain their equipment. They are gonna have to communicate. Shannon will have to communicate with my software company, which I think he does now because of his Harris Gov County Tax Office has got the same. The only thing I'm requesting records on is KK's office, the county clerk. I don't even want to, we want to view only, nothing else, that's it. That's it. So if somebody has a problem with the property and we have to research it back to year off, we can go right there, research it, get off. It's not gonna be a lot of traffic. It will not be a lot of traffic only. But I do believe anything in my office that belongs to the cash should be governed by my software company, and anything over here should be governed by y'all's IT. And they're gonna have to communicate, and they can, IT people can work that out. I'm not an IT person.
So let me ask you a question. I don't know how many computers you have access to in your office.
I've got probably 20.
So will every computer in there have this access or just?
No, only
we're
two.
Dedicated to two?
My mapping department, the, Mr. Cranks and Ms. Bozier. They're the only two that will be doing any type of research, and they'll never be on probably at the same time. It's not gonna be a lot of traffic, but it does help us to be able to get that information.
And you're currently getting it from KK?
Yes, she gets that on the I get it from a CD on her, but not anything we're researching backwards. We're getting all the current on the CD, but like if we need something from 1943, we got to get up and walk down to the county clerk's office and leave their desk and research it and get the D. And they've been very, I'm going to give kudos to our county clerk. We've worked great together for years. I mean, even past KK all the way back, because we're doing this for the taxpayer. What's best for the taxpayer.
We're just doing this for safety net.
Safety for my end, that nothing comes in, and safety on your end, that nothing comes through mine. But it's only two computers, but we got firewalls on both ends. The one that I purchased is in my office, will be in my office, off my network firewall.
So all your computers is log in to one person. It's not everybody can log in to. They don't have the same login number.
No,
or
everybody's separate.
identification.
They got their separate username and password. There'll be only two using this connection.
Yeah, I'm kind of uneducated as you are in the IT department. I'm trying to understand from both sides here. So,
They're gonna have to communicate. Shannon will have to communicate with my IT people. And then they will work that out.
so let me ask you, would you say that your IT people is current? Is
Yes.
up to date on?
When Shannon came over a few months ago, there were some of my PCs weren't up to date, but we're not, when I say it's up to date on security, it might not have the new window program. set up.
No, I'm asking for security. I'm not talking about.
Okay, security, yes.
Your-
I have a firewall sitting there that nothing has ever come through.
So what is your rebuttal? What,
Can I say something, Mark?
Yeah, but
I think this is, I know that we've spent a lot of money on our phone system and our computer system here. It was so out of date. As a matter of fact, we're not there quite yet, from what I'm being told. I think our sheriff's office is still needing things done, and our basement needs to be cleaned out where all of our software stuff is. I think, and I'm not an IT guy neither, so I'm just sitting up here listening to all this, Margie, so I'm just gonna say what I gotta say. I think that we, the county, should have our own firewall.
You do.
Okay. And is that enough to protect us from either us giving Margie a virus or Margie giving us a virus?
Why not? Well, okay, just put it on my level.
So you're gonna have to,
this is today. March 15th, 2022, FBI warns of multi-factor authentication law that allows state hackers to use a VPN to allow access in the system and grant permissions to move through a network with administrative privileges, which is a VPN you're asking for. When you give a VPN, you're giving them direct access into your server, into your network. That's an external office we have no control over. We don't have spam filters, blockers, nothing. We're trying to protect everything here, but that's an outside source of it. I have no control over it. I can't even see anything over there. I just want a firewall that I can say, yes, the power is on it, it's functioning, and I have updated the firmware. I have put in the rules myself on it, and I know it's updated. The one that's over there now, I know Harris Government did not update before.
But
I
they
know
are
for a
now.
fact.
Yes,
You had to call and get on several times. And I know for a fact that I've talked to Harris Government, and they have asked me, Shannon, are you gonna help us program this? But don't tell Miss Margie. And that's all I'm gonna say.
well, look, that's beside the, all
That's
of
besides the
that.
point.
So you're gonna buy us a firewall to protect us?
no, I've already bought the firewall and sitting in my office. And anything in my office, I feel like my software people, which is my hardware also, will maintain it. Now, they're gonna have to work with Shannon. They're both gonna have to work together because they're gonna talk to each other. And that's where the control starts.
Okay.
But I do not think the county should come into and dictate to my office what I can do and what I can't.
We're not gonna do that.
We're accessing to this network. We're just allowing that. We're just allowing that access into this network. That's it.
But you're protecting what I can see, and that's what you need to do. Correct?
No.
I'm not even understanding.
We're not-
Okay, I don't want to look at the sheriff's office. I don't want to look at the judge's office. All I want is to look at KK's records. That's it.
That's not exactly even what this is allowing. This is just giving us a secure channel. Securing it from the rest of those two computers that you're gonna use over there. Those are not isolated from the rest of the offices, are they? Those two computers are on the same network as all the other computers.
Yes.
So when the front clerk opens up an email and gets ransomware, it's gonna channel through to those same two computers, come through net data and log down to the sheriff department. Call net data and ask them if it can't happen.
Yeah.
Call them. That's all I'm asking.
Yes.
That's how my voice.
No, I can ask you for that, but yes.
I know, but I also know he has locked your system down so hard that I can't even email county employees. They can't email me.
That's spam filters and all we gotta do is open.
We need to know things like that.
So
I just think we need to be protected.
I do
as
too.
much
I'm
as we can.
100% on my,
And as far as what you do in your office, I don't think the county needs to know what you do.
We
in
don't
your
want
office. So we don't want to know. But I do think that either we need to put a firewall or something to protect us.
you got a firewall.
But will it protect
Oh,
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but will
You
it,
got a lot of firewalls.
but would it protect it from her office? No. That's what I'm talking about. It won't protect us from your office.
Not once you open that.
Once you give us access, then our file, if I'm understanding this right, then we're not protected when we do that.
The only way to guarantee that we don't get infected from her office is to not give her this link. That's the only way to guarantee it. But if you're gonna give this link, try to protect it as much as you can.
No, I think she needs to have, no, I
Well,
think.
that's
she-
what I'm saying, but so why not try to protect it as much as you
And I
can?
just, it's over a firewall, so let's just figure out how we're gonna put the firewall.
I agree.
I got the firewall, I bought it, it's gonna hang off my other firewall, and they're gonna have to program it. I've talked to, I don't know what they told.
So are
me.
you good with that, Shannon, or not? You're not good with Margie's firewall?
Say again?
You're not good with Margie's? We got to have a firewall?
Yes.
Okay, so how are we gonna get to our firewall?
Why do y'all have to have a firewall? You've already got firewalls.
The one that we just brought to your office.
That's, I bought that. That's
Okay,
mine.
can I buy one and put it in your office?
No,
Okay, then I give up. Y'all figure out something else. I'm out of it.
We gotta have a firewall.
I've got the firewall.
No, us got to have a firewall.
Y'all got the firewall.
But it won't,
I've given you my recommendation. That's
It won't
68
protect us.
recommendations.
it won't protect us, Mark. Your firewall won't protect
Yes,
us.
it will. It's gonna be locked down. They're programming it with Shannon. They have to work.
But it's your firewall.
Yes,
We don't have anything inside your door,
that's right.
okay? Nothing. And we don't want
Yes, you
anything.
do. Yes, you do. I can prove that to Shannon. Last week, he didn't think that switch in my office is still active. He told me, he said, let's go out. I kept telling him it was. I said, let's go. He said, let's unplug it. I said, okay. But we go back there and unplug it. And it's not in my system, y'all. It's sitting on just the rack. Unplugged it. Shannon left. Shannon called me back. He took down the county tax office and county clerk. So y'all do have that in my office now.
And why do we still have that in there?
I don't know.
Because when the storm took this line down and I was gonna cut it off at the tax office, you asked me to keep that on that at your office. You said, because in the future, you were planning on hooking up to the county. And you asked me to leave that there. I'll swear on the Bible right here.
I'm just telling you, I don't remember it,
I'm
Shannon.
just saying. But that's why they stay there. I'm not in a war right here, Ms. Morty. I just want to protect the county and just do my job to the best of my ability. But that's all I got. I don't know.
We got to have a firewall. We got to have.
But I'm gonna remove that old switch soon.
And yours is in your office, so that means we got to have.
No, mine's not hooked up. It's brand new. I do have a firewall for my whole network. Okay? And he recommended getting the firewall. So I did. I said, I'll buy the firewall if I have to have
But you're
that.
still operating.
My IT people will be.
That's what I'm talking about. We
Well,
got,
we have to trust that?
no, we're not, no. I think we got to get ours. I know just as much about this to be dangerous.
Yes, right.
Okay.
I'm about with you. I'm not having no problems with that, Jim. Okay? 39 years. So I'm very protective of.
So we
what goes
still
on.
need our firewall. We got to have our firewall.
But you're wanting to hook into my system and y'all's employee or whatever, or you contract, do it.
But we will not be able to see anything. Your firewall will be blocking us.
It shouldn't allow us access.
If they know how to program it.
Right?
I don't know. If you got faith in them.
I have faith in them.
Okay?
I do.
And I don't think we're gonna
I'm
get on
here.
it. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get on it anyway. Not gonna get on it.
We would.
Just, we gotta have a firewall. So we gotta figure out how to get a firewall on our
So what
side.
it comes down to is I've got the firewall. What it really comes down to is my IT people doing it and working with Shannon and Shannon working it on this end. And that's how, to me, that is the easiest solution.
It sounded like to me, the main concern here is the amount of trust that we can put in the contractor. And from what my ears have heard, that he has faulted before, he's subject to do it again. So that's where, from a county standpoint, that's where I am, I'm concerned. And I think that's what the whole issue
Now, who
is.
has faulted?
Well, he didn't put update the firewall before, and you had to call him and beg him, to ask him 2 or 3 times to update it.
That was my statement a minute.
I understand, but that, I mean, is what. And that's the part that got me.
Well, there's no trust out there between the thieves, I can tell you.
That's right.
So I don't.
Can I ask you quick questions? Shannon, like being on the HR side with all of our HR, social security numbers, our insurance documents, all this kind of stuff. Is our side protected from going into somebody else's?
Well, that's gonna be just determined by the access that net data gives her. That, because there's different profiles set up in net data, so if they just give her clerk access, she should not be able to see treasurer access or sheriff department access. But again, just remember, the point that I'm also putting out there is it's just one server, so if that server gets infected, sheriff department, treasurer, everything goes out. Like it wipes everything.
Like what mine does.
Exactly.
I have 25,000 social security numbers.
And we want to protect that too.
It is protected.
Okay.
My opinion, before I could make a decision, I think I would need some more expertise for a decision. I think Ms. Margie would agree with me. We're not intelligent enough to really have a decent conversation.
I'll be glad to get my software company to write a letter
I
to the
would like,
commissioner's court, telling them what they will do and what they're under contract to do. That would ease y'all. I'll be glad to get that done.
so would your IT person, up here in person,
Yeah.
present to the commissioner court? I would recommend let's table this item.
I'm making.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. Palmer and second by Mr. White, that we table item number 1. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Here none, passed. Item number 2. Discuss and appropriate develop subdivision rules and regulations for Newton County. This is, been brought to my attention that we should be setting up some guidelines for subdivision rules and regulations and design. And I haven't had time to actually look at it or actually make an intelligent decision on any rules or regulations at this time myself. Maybe y'all have, so I want to hear from y'all.
Well, I tell you what, I've read them and I've researched them. I've got them out there and there's 200 of them out there. Ones that I've read, I don't, I need some help. Personal opinion. They're so different. And we really don't know what we're gonna do or how this county's gonna react with the amount of businesses proposed to come to this county. I have made a few phone calls to the water districts around here, not in Deweyville, but around here. And we have just enough water in our water systems around here, in our rural water systems, just to take care of the people that we have there. So I don't think there's nothing in here. I'm not getting into the water company's business at all, but sooner or later, those rural water supplies are already struggling. They're gonna have, if they're gonna come in here and tap on the water systems, then they're gonna need some assistance updating their system some way or another. Unless they wanna go through the water well business, and I don't think none of them, from what I've talked to, the ones that I've talked to, they would like for the sewer and the water to be there. So that's I don't think, and I've got a bunch of it here, and I think I need some help too. It's my opinion. Got too many things going on at one time.
Make a quick decision, what you said.
I'm just telling you that I've read and we've researched and we've pulled and we've read from different counties around here, what they've done. And all they start out telling you is all the problems that they had before they put in a subdivision guidelines. And then they talk about how they have to go in there and constantly update them and do different things with them to try to make them fit. Because none of them want to turn anybody away. Just, there's got to be some room in there for revision. Got to be able to revise them. Some of them are to the point. I guess some of them probably got them figured out. You can go on there and research them, and you can just read it from every county around here. Different ones. I think we ought to do a little bit more. I think we ought to do a little bit more work. It's my opinion. Before we make a decision.
So, what's your opinion?
I think we need to try to compare some, get some population of some rural area, counties like ours. And those are the ones that we gotta be similar to. I mean, quite naturally, if you got, more businesses and large cities and stuff, we can't compare ourselves with that. But my biggest concern, like Tig was saying, the utilities and the, of course, TCEQ are gonna have some regulations and whatnot and guidelines that we got to be within. And so we gotta pull all those things together before we put one out there that's gonna fit us. We can jump out and do something rapidly, in my opinion, but we need to start out somewhere where we need to be. We can make small adjustments, updates every year or whatever, every so many years, and update them. But I did the same thing. I went through all the stuff that Nolan gave me, and the question come that, well, how long, what's the population on this one? And, this the first subdivision, or was this the 14th one, and that kind of stuff. So it makes a difference. Because you can read almost, variety of stuff into it.
There's a big difference between Deweyville and Bleakwood. Structured lane.
That's true. Take that in.
They a lot lower than I am. Hard to find one fit all.
I think it's gonna take some work.
I'm not ready to impose no subdivision guidelines. Doing right now. Not today.
And that's what the item says, develop subdivision and regulations for Newton County. So, you recommend tabling the item or what?
I think we need to do a little bit more research and ask a few more questions. That's my opinion.
I haven't had a chance to review it either, so I'd like some more time. And I would suggest taking no action as opposed to tabling it. In case it doesn't come back up again, or whenever it does, you can just make a new item. So I would just take no action on it, let this item fall.
There got a lot of highlights in my book.
We're taking no action on item 2, and that reflects on item 3. There's no action also, so no action on 2 and 3.
Question. Don't y'all have to approve the subdivision? The county commissioners, once they present a subdivision to you, you have to approve it or deny it.
We do, but as we move forward and especially with the new plant coming and the excitement of outsiders that's coming in and wants to develop certain subdivision, we should have guidelines and regulations in which they have to operate and start constructing under. So they'll be bound before they ever get started and before they bring it to the commissioner court for us for approval. Also, they can go out there and do anything they want to do, and then we'd have to do our research whether it meets our guidelines or not. So if they know the guidelines to start with, it'll help with the process.
Has, the new subdivision down south, Centennial Estates, has that been approved by,
It has not.
you know, if that subdivision's coming?
It's in the works.
Because I have a protest active on that. In that protest, lady that is over the Brucey Earl Estates, Oldham Estates, she's saying that they have not made a final decision on the development. I just got it.
That would be a decision of the owners. They
No,
have-
the
they-
owner, yeah, the one trying to decide, that's what I'm trying to get, is she's filed a protest on, the rollback, saying they have not made a final decision if they're putting that subdivision in.
Who is this one?
Her name,
Yeah, but, I mean, what part is she in the subdivision?
she's the one that is over that estate.
That's the one that 12 and 87?
Yes, sir. Jeannie Scalapino. She is the manager for Centennial Estates. She also says she's the over. When she deeded, the person that deeded y'all the property behind the substation for the park, it's her. And that's what she just filed this in my office, saying that they have not made a final decision for development.
They haven't asked the court for any final decision or any,
I forgot for them doing something.
well, I wouldn't know what to, I don't know what their decision is.
That's what I'm asking. Do you know if they're gonna go forward as far as a commissioner's court?
No, I don't know. I'm not the decision maker for them, so I'm not gonna speak for them.
Because I know they went through the expense of the survey, because they've got their signs up and everything else. Down. But that kind of shocked me when I read this on this document. So, yeah.
Yeah, so the gentleman over the development spoke with Judge Weeks this morning, spoke with me yesterday. There's a strong desire to go forward with it. There's absolutely not a final, yes, we're going forward, we're starting to figure out, they're still working through some different things. But not to startle anyone here, they're excited about going forward with it. There's things that they're still working through. There's no, it's one of those things, just like the question today about what is meant by this. It's just, they don't want any absurd hurdles through in front of them. It's all about an RI return on investment. So I don't want anybody to be scared and go out here and say, oh, they're not doing it. They're excited about doing it. They're excited about the support. They bragged on Lincoln County and what they got. And those things will be things that we'll work through in weeks. There's no negative, right? We don't think about it. It's all, we just got some more hurdles to clear. We want to work with the county.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with Bubba on that. The excitement is there, but the decision has been made for us, I know. And maybe you know something I don't, Bubba.
So gentleman said that the final decision hasn't been made, but still they have an agreement from the county on what the county's going to hold them to. They're not going to come out and agree that, yeah, we're about to invest $4 million in clear land and put roads in and start doing that until they have met and finalized what are you going to require as drainage. They look at their engineering plan and say, what are you going to make us do this drainage? Because the sunset acres, we're not going to make them do anything in sunset. So they're waiting on that from the court, and all of this is just leveraging to say, we're not doing it, we're not coming at you with a blank check. But they want to do it. We can work with them, make it happen. That's my stance.
So I was unaware of the protest too, but.
I'll give you a copy of it, it's there, and there's documentation down there where she signed. It just shocked me when this come in, by the way it was worded, and I thought, well, maybe I have, you know, and I understand what Bubba's saying and you're saying, but if y'all do finalize and go forward, I need to know that as soon as possible. Because when they start breaking ground and cutting trees, they'll roll back up. That's nothing negotiable.
I understand that.
I did, when they started with the signs and they've done the survey for the the development, I did issue a rollback. And so this is her saying, no, we're not doing this. We are still using it for timber use. And
That is.
that's all.
I would expect that, and you would expect that if you had your own property and you went out there and was gonna do some surveying for your own benefit, for knowledge of.
When you chop it up in lots like they have, that is not the timber use.
Well,
But
I think they'll,
think
I think they'll agree, but nothing's been started. As I know of, maybe, I don't go there
survey's
down
been
there.
done, it's posted out there on the sign.
It's posted.
I'm surveying my land now, but it's still under that timber. I mean, nothing's been changed. There's a goal, there's an objective to go forward. You can't change your taxes based on what they might do, right? It's nothing decided right now, it's still being used for what pennies for.
Yes.
So I think the question is to the court is that have we done any action, or do you know of any action been taken by the owner for this to move forward in Stonewall?
I just need to know if it goes forward. I need to know it so I can do my job.
And you do your job very well. And thank you. But
It will be beneficial to y'all if I don't do it now, because the values are doing nothing but going up. See, they're being taxed on a lot lower values, and a rollback is nothing but that you have to pay the difference between the market and timber value. So, but when she threw that out there, I just thought, well, I haven't heard that. Anyway, I'll be glad to give you a copy of it.
sure, I appreciate that. Okay, here, motion to adjourn.
I make a motion there. Can't do no good.
Judge, can I speak just a moment about the problem with the water?
Yeah, we haven't got a second yet. Go ahead.
Just to enlighten you on some stuff that's going around in our last groundwater board meeting last week. There is a developer in Jasper County, North Jasper County, had 15 lots that he developed and sold. One of those lots had a water well on it that was not registered. He was selling those lots with community water. And when he sold the last lot, he turned electricity off of the well. And so that had worked so well, he had bought some more property, had another bigger well drilled, told our water district manager that it was for personal use. It was not going to be any houses, anything on it. And he piped that water 1.5 miles and went selling lots with community water. And it's caught up with him. And so he's going to end up with some pretty good fines because of his illegal, both from the groundwater conservation district and probably TCQ as well. But these folks are out there, they're cutting all the corners they can to make what money they can, and they get out of Dodge. And so your streets, water, sewer, and everything else, 5 years from now, somebody's gonna have a headache if we don't have some kind of rules and regulation. And Jasper County has some subdivision rules that are there. Rules are about 20 pages long, from what I understand, and LJA right now is revising all of that through the county. And I think actually through the Southeast Texas Regional Planning Commission, they just did Hardin counties, and they just did Liberty counties as well. Liberty counties, you think this book, Liberty counties subdivision rules are 300 pages long. Because they're having so much intrusion from the folks in Harris County.
Yeah, and the reason they did that is because of the intrusion, like you just said, undeveloped subdivision rules and regulations, which came into play. And this developer come up there and developed all that, sold all the lots and took off. And now it's an undeveloped area. That's actually neighbors that you would probably not be appreciative of.
The water's gonna be a problem.
Yes, it is. Do I hear a second?
That's a, made the motion.
You already made that, wait for a second.
Second.
Motion been made, second, we adjourn, it's 1:42. In favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hold same sign. Adjourn.
I think so, but that water thing, gonna be- I said that water thing, gonna be terrible.